By the way, the Pistons have added Duncan Robinson. Now you say, okay, well, they added him because Malik Beasley has some financial problems. He's got some legal issues. He's got a federal investigation. So they quickly pivoted. They were going to pay, Detroit was going to pay Malik Beasley 3 years, $42 million. And all of a sudden they go, we need somebody who can shoot threes, who doesn't have a gambling problem, allegedly have a gambling problem. Duncan Robinson, come on, we'll take you. And Malik Beasley's got some real financial. I mean, now you realize if you get into a position, Detroit News lays this out, got into, financial disaster, loans, bad investments, and then all of a sudden, did he turn to gambling, fixing a game, prop bets? That's what appears happened. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of smoke here. And if there is any semblance of fire, boy, this is where you really damage a league. This is everybody talks about. No, we're monitoring and gambling, and we know what's going on. All these commissioners, all of them, this is their worst day. This is their worst nightmare. If there's something that damages the credibility, where you go, that's not real. I can watch wrestling. I know it's not real, but I'm not betting on that. If I'm watching the basketball game, football, baseball, whatever sporting event, and if you think it's not real, that's where it starts to crack at the foundation here.
All right, let's stop right here. Let's stop right there. So he laid it out for you. Malik Beasley is a multimillionaire professional NBA player, y'all. And as much as we talk about stocks and as much as we talk about investing in the market, I think it's equally important to understand how to keep the money that you make and how not to lose it, right? And be irresponsible with it. I think that's just as important as investing in the stock market. It's just as important. Now, Malik Beasley is no slouch. He's not a bum. All right. This is a guy who had everything in front of him. He had the whole entire world. The Pistons organization was ready to throw $45 million at this guy for 3 years. 3 years, $45 million contract. And what did he do? He blew it all. Now he will be hard pressed. His agents will be hard pressed to find a team that will be willing to scout him, to even scout him to be on their team. Nobody is going to want to touch Malik Beasley with a 10-foot pole. He blew it. Now, you heard him mention that he had some problems and some gambling problems and some debt, but I don't really think that he did justice as far as laying out the various financial problems that Malik Beasley had. So we're going to delve into it so you can know what not to do when you get when you've made and earned over $60 million as a young black man in America. Let's get into the article. This is by Yahoo Sports. And the headline was Malik Beasley owed $8 million to debtors. Had wages garnished by the dentist prior to gambling investigation. Yo, I don't even understand how. I do not understand how you are a professional NBA player and you are having your wages, your NBA checks garnished by the dentist office. Are you serious? You are having your checks garnished by the dentist? Let's read the article a little bit. All right. Malik Beasley seemed destined to be the ultimate cautionary tale in the NBA, a player with $60 million in career earnings. That's to date, by the way. So that's just how much he's made thus far. That doesn't include how much he stood to make in any future earnings, part of any future earnings in the league. That's just to date. To date, he has made $60 million. Let's just stop right there, because do you understand the top percentile in class you're in when you've touched millions upon millions of dollars? It's beyond privilege. It's amazing. And then you blow it. Let's continue. He's made over a player with $60 million in career earnings with a massive contract on the table, managed to find himself so far in debt that his dentist was garnishing his wages, which may have contributed to Beasley becoming embroiled in an alleged point shaving scandal. For those that don't understand what he was doing, I'll lay it out for you. Sports betting has become one of the biggest things ever in the past, I feel like, at least the past 5 to 7 years. Sports betting is big time. There's billions of dollars wrapped up in sports betting now. There's apps everywhere. There's products everywhere. There's companies promoting it everywhere. Whether it's betting from the casino to actual sports betting online, which there's so many various companies that you can just hop on, sign in, and start making bets on players, right? So Malik said, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start placing wagers on myself. He started betting on himself. That's illegal. You can't do that. For those that don't know, if you were wondering, no, you cannot be an NBA player in the league and then go and start making sports bets on yourself. Can't do it. That's fraud. Not only is it fraud, but now you're looking at a federal investigation. Malik could possibly do jail time from this. Point shave, for those that don't understand, point shaving is when you bet or you take the unders on yourself. So, for example, let's say the Pistons got a game tonight, right? Pistons got a game against the Charlotte Hornets. Malik will go in, bet on himself, bet that he would make under 3 threes. So he would miss at least the majority of his three-pointers made. And he would not make more than 3 3-point shots. That's taking the under. And he was taking the under on yourself. Well, if you're taking the under on yourself and you're the person that's making the shots, what you gonna do? Are you really gonna go out there and try to hit 5 threes for your team to win the game? Absolutely not. So it says, if this sounds like something so convoluted it's out of a movie, you wouldn't be wrong. So let's break down what exactly happened with Malik Beasley. From a $40 million free agent offer to now potentially being out of the NBA. Let me make this very clear. I think Malik Beasley is done. I think he's done. And if he was in debt before, imagine how much debt he's going to have after this investigation. So the first headline says, a pattern of financial mismanagement began with a loan. A report from the Detroit News detailed how Beasley's financial problems appeared to begin when he was playing for the Timberwolves on a 4-year, $60 million contract. South River Capital, which is a private company specializing in lending money to professional athletes, extended an undisclosed line of credit to Beasley based off of his future earnings. Now, for those that don't know, this isn't out of the ordinary for professional athletes, is what I've come to learn. So going to a company, and a lot of these companies are scummy, and they prey on young players and they prey on young athletes because they know that there's a great chance that they're going to blow a lot of money really fast. So they sit by and they wait. They wait in the wings and they prey on them. They want them to come to them and say, yeah, hey, we're going to give you an advance of $50 million. This is just an example. We're going to give you an advance of $50 million. Now, you're going to pay us back. You're going to pay us back with interest, by the way. But we're going to give you that $50 million now because we know that you're good for it, right? Unless, of course, you start gambling on yourself and then you get caught up in a federal investigation.
Motherfucker, you fucked up, huh? You fucked up, huh? You know your ass is due.
But let's continue. While the amount of that loan isn't clear, we do know that in 2022, South River Capital was awarded a $5.8 million judgment order Beasley to pay back the loan. And this came after he made a payment of $1.13 million. So he was already trying to make payments and was failing at that. He was already behind and lost a lawsuit of $5.8 million to the same company that had loaned him millions of dollars. And he says it's not uncommon for professional athletes, here it is what I was talking about, to take out loans based on future unrealized contracts. But this started a pattern of financial issues for Beasley, who seemingly had his financial problems snowball from there. Here's the more lawsuits. It says while the South River Capital lawsuit was the largest, Beasley was routinely taken to court over smaller defaulted loans and unpaid bills. Listen, $650,000 to Hazan Sports Management for failure to repay a loan against future marketing revenue. $26,827 to Cairo Cuts, a celebrity barbershop in Milwaukee. So obviously this is when he was playing for the Bucks, right? I just want to know, y'all, how do you rack up a debt with a barbershop over $26,000 worth of money owed? You understand how ridiculous that is? You owed over $26,000 to a barbershop? This is beyond ignorance. This is financial illiteracy. It's financial suicide at this point. $21,505 to the Stott, a historic apartment building in Detroit, for failure to pay rent. He couldn't even make his rent payments. Again, this is a guy who has made currently to date over $60 million in the league. Now, a lot of you might say, well, Derek, he didn't get all of that money, right? Because taxes, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, let's just say he got a fraction. Let's just say he got half of that 60 million. All right. You didn't get 60 million. Let's say you made 30. Really? With 30 million, you couldn't figure out how to pay a tab of $26,000, by the way, which is ridiculous for a barbershop. Then it said that he owed $34,390 to Dr. Hassan Al-Shahabi, a dentist in Minnesota. So you had some dental work done that totaled nearly $35,000. And because you didn't want to pay back the debt, they started garnishing your checks. It says the last debt to this doctor led to a court judgment to garnish Beasley's wages to satisfy the debt, indicating he perhaps didn't have the $35,000 on hand to pay off the bill, despite earning $6 million that season with the Pistons. This season with the Pistons. In addition to these lawsuits, there's also an outstanding bridge loan from a firm in Florida, which the athlete signed. In total, Beasley had over $8 million in outstanding loans and unpaid bills. Here's the betting scandal right here that we were just talking about. On June 30th, news broke that Beasley was under investigation by the FBI as part of a wire fraud investigation involving gambling and prop bets. While he was not charged criminally as part of the probe, it was revealed that betting interest in Beasley's points began to explode in January of 2024 when Beasley was with the Timberwolves. Listen, that's all we need to read. We don't even need any more. Okay, they got his stat lines right. That has stat line right here. But honestly, it doesn't even matter at this point. Malik Beasley is done. And this is a guy who has so much promise. The Pistons were about to give him over $40 million to play for them for the 3 years. Way to blow a bag. This is how you blow a bag. This is how you blow a bag. Here, before we get out of here, let's take a look at some of the videos that people have put together, some of the compilations that they put together from Malik Beasley apparently selling during the actual games. Here, let's try it again.
Beasley, Harris falls down. Hardaway, back for Cunningham. Swing it off the hands of Beasley, out of bounds.
Now, that might be a bad example because he could have just lost the pass, right? So, I don't know about that one. Let's check out another video.
Malik Beasley has allegedly been betting on NBA games. Here is what people believe that proves it. In a game versus the Clippers when Beasley was on the T-Wolves, Clips were up 9 with 5 seconds left. Beasley decides to sprint down the court, cutting the lead to 7 with seconds left. The spread of this game was 8.5. Next, it doesn't help in April of this year. Beasley tweeted out from his own account, quote, "Ant, you gotta get 7 threes to beat me tonight." Why in the world would an NBA player tweet this out before a game? Or when Giannis blocked a Beasley shot in the final second of a game that was over. He was mad at Giannis for no reason. Did this ruin his parlay? And remember the last play of the season for Beasley versus the Knicks? Beasley misses an easy pass from Cunningham to possibly tie the game. It's so suspicious now. Beasley has made over $53 million in his career. Why does he need to gamble? So do you think he was betting on games or...
Like I said, the pass I could see happening. That pass could happen to any player. You could just lose the pass, you weren't ready for it. You could definitely just lose the pass. We got to pause that because you know how YouTube is. But look at this play. What are you doing? This is why he was in Milwaukee, by the way. Look at him. This is defense. He just let him drive right past him. He literally let him drive right past him. Look at that. Didn't play any defense on that shot. You listen, yo. It's not even a question of whether or not Malik Beasley is out of the league. It's over. You done. You done. Congratulations. You played yourself. And one of the most stupidest, dumbest moves that you could ever possibly pull, Malik Beasley has proved to everybody and to the league that he doesn't deserve to be here. And it's unfortunate because this is a dude who just had weapons charges brought against him back during COVID. But he got past that and the league said, you know what? We're going to look past the weapons charges and we're still going to give you an opportunity to play in the league and to earn a living for you and your family so that you can be set for the next couple of generations, right? But no. He looked a gift horse in the mouth and said, thanks for the opportunity to continue, but I guess I'll bet on myself. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm betting on myself. Literally. Literally. How dumb can you get? How stupid can you be? You made it to a level and a height that people and players who stay around the league and play basketball and train and stay in the gym their entire lives wish that they could get to, and you threw it all away for what? Because you have a gambling problem. This is why I say it doesn't matter, and this is why people in the know anyway, this is why they say it don't matter how much money you made. It don't matter that he made $60 million. How much did you keep? And then what did you do with the money that you had, that you kept? If you make $60 million, but you blowing 80, what are we doing? Y'all drop a comment down below. I appreciate y'all for watching. I'll holler at y'all later.